Hi everyone, it's Nicole and we're gonna work on organizing a little bit more in my scrap room. I think the next thing I want to work on is these 6x6 paper pad. It's not that it looks bad. I mean, they could be straightened out a little bit, but what I want is to put the same companies together, and have that organized, because sometimes when I look for something, I know it's a specific company, so I want to make sure that they're all together. And I just thought I'd show you a little bit of some extra things that we got done around the room. So we got 4 more of these put up on the wall. And over here, we got another one put up there. They're all full. I'm going to need 5 more. Now, this is something new. I'm working on buttons, so, it's a little bit of stuff everywhere. But I got these containers here. I only put one together, but this is going to be to store our buttons for when we start selling physical products. I am going to switch this into one of those boxes, just because then I can see what's in there. But until I got those, I had put that in there. So I think at some point I'm going to try and clear this up so I can put boxes like that and put my die cuts, my mini die cuts that we're going to be selling, and stickers and that kind of stuff, all on this table, all in a row. For now, this is what I did. I had one of these left. I found a spot for every other one. And I just put my button files in there because, I'm working on the springtime flower buttons right now and the camping and hiking buttons. So they're in files ready to go. And then I have, some of these ready to go too. So this is nice to have all organized. I thought I was going to have, did you know that your printer has a maintenance box? Yeah, so when you do cleaning of the head and stuff, it goes in the maintenance box, and once it gets full, you need to change that. It will not print anymore. So it happened to my other printer. So I went right ahead and bought one for this, and I thought I was going to have to change it this week because it wasn't printing right. So I had to do like a major maintenance on it. So I thought it was going to be full. So I'll just put this back to where it was. But it's good for now. Okay, so here, look at all my punches. I love it that way. Remember, I did that last week. I just wanted to show you my new addition. I got a clock, so it's 10 o'clock in the morning when I'm filming this. And look, my room is still clean. Now, I do have, oh, spoiler alert, that's for Patreon. I still have a few things. This is a contention, like I want to clean that up. But it's not too bad. Last week I cleaned this up and it's still looking good. So I think this week what we're going to do is the 6x6 paper pad. Oh, this is what I want to show you. That's why I came over here. I added this little shelf and I put the numbers 911 because I'm Nicole Jones 911. And then because it's so dark in this area, I added these 2 little lights. And look, my sink is clean, so that I can turn them on. This is actually a rose from my dad's funeral. He passed away in 2006, so that's almost 20 years old. And I still have it. So still a few things to do. I'd like to clean this up. I did clean when I did this. I did clean the top of that, so that's done. So I just got to do, again, I'm going to do what can be seen first, and then we'll get into the drawers and stuff. So I think this week I'm going to do the 6x6 paper pads. I think I'm going to do this because this is driving me nuts. So I'll do this little area right here. I'm making buttons, so as soon as I'm done filming this, I'll be making some more buttons. So I just left that there. I do have this ring light. It really helps with sitting here. So, okay. So let's start with the paper pads. Then I'm going to do this. And I think the last thing The last thing I'm going to do is this Raskog. Oh, it's so bad. Here, I'll show you. I want it to look like this. Like this is the one I did a couple weeks ago. Look how clean it looks. It still looks amazing. I added one thing. I added that bag because I have like my little printer in there. So I thought that would be a good spot for it. But definitely this needs to go, needs to be cleaned out. But I think I'm going to start with something a little easier like the 6x6 paper pad. So now I'm going to put you on fast forward and we're going to clean those up. So if I'm being totally honest, of all the stuff I picked today, this was the most fun to do. One of them I would even consider a fail because I got partway through and I'm like, I am not going through all of that. But you'll see when we get there. So I take those little crate baskets. I got those. It's like a home builder store. It's called Kent's here. And they were about $4, for each little crate. And I bought 5 of them. And at the time, I thought they were expensive. Well, guess what? They're like $8 now. So I'm like, you know what? I have 5. I'm going to make it do. So I go through those 5. I take everything out. I divide it by company. So I put Echo Park with Echo Park. I put all the American craft stuff together like Chamel, Dear Lizzie, Amy Tangerine, those products from American Crafts. I put those together, Bo Bunny. And then I also have it's like a tote, I guess, or a container that I purchased from Close to My Heart. It was, probably 15 years ago. It was a long time ago. And it fits perfectly 6x6 paper pads, which you're going to see. I'm going to bring it in and it is pretty much full, but I want to go, there it is right there. I want to go through those and put the My Mind's Eye with the My Mind's Eye and the Echo Park with the Echo Park. I kind of organized them, I guess, way back when I put them there. I don't think it was that specific, If I saw 4 or 5 Echo Parks together, I kind of kept them together, but I didn't go through them like this and made sure that they stayed together. And I'm kind of putting them in alphabetical order. So I started with Basic Gray and Bo Bunny. Then the next crate, I'm putting crepe paper and Cartabella. And then after that, I'm putting Cosmo Cricket. And then I'm putting Echo Park. And I'm kind of looking at the companies that I have a lot of 6x6 paper pads, and I'm making sure that those stay together. So I'm making sure that, the My Mind's Eye are all together. And then I'm adding Lawn Fawn, Lily Bee Design, the L's just before the My Mind's Eye. Luckily, it all fit perfectly. Like, it worked out really good. So I end up putting the American Craft stuff into that container. I put all the Stampin' Up. I had a whole bunch of Stampin' Up 6x6 paper pad, and I put those in there too. And I don't know if you can tell, but on that white shelf at the very right, that's that container on top. So I have 6x6 there, and I put the crate paper, or the little crates back where they were at the beginning. And then I grabbed this thing. It's a wire basket. First of all, I carried that from where it was onto my desk. I'm like, this is paper. How can it weigh so much? But I'm telling you, it weighed a ton. And then the little section that you're going to see me do, that literally took me 40 minutes. And I barely scratched the surface of ripping those, not ripping those, but taking those out of there. Because my idea was, I'm going to take all the papers out. I'm going to divide them all by company. First of all, holy Malanta, I have a lot of different companies. So I was running out of space where I could make piles for the different companies. Because for me around here, now it's a little better because we do have a local scrapbook store. But for many years, I didn't have somewhere to go buy like sheets of paper. So a lot of times, these came in either kits or, sometimes I would get stuff from Studio Calico, like the second pile from the pile closest to the wire basket, that's Studio Calico. So I was getting pattern paper from Studio Calico. Maybe it's pattern paper. So if I'm working with a collection and there was only like a few sheets left, well, then I would throw it in there. So, like I said, I went close to 45 minutes and I barely scratched the surface. And I'm like, this is not sustainable. This is going to take me 2 weeks, to go through all of this and separate it by paper and really, like by company, and really, do I care? No, I just didn't like that it was super messy at the front. There was like pieces of pattern paper, there was cardstock. So at one point, you're going to see me kind of flip through and I'm pulling out the cardstock and I'm pulling out just the pieces of pattern paper and I'm putting those into my scraps. And then I'm going to go get some chipboard and I'm probably going to put, I don't know, 6 or 7 chipboard in between all those pattern papers, because as you can tell, like they're kind of leaning, So I'm like, okay, is there any way that I can maybe straighten those out a little bit? I thought of maybe changing the direction of them because I think it's wider going the other way. I just, to tell you the truth, at that point, I was just like, this is not fun. Not that any of this cleaning, any of it was fun. I think what kind of threw me over the edge for this like these 3 things that I have in this one video is ever since I started the organizing, I've been dividing it in several days and not doing everything in one day. And all those 3 things I did in one day, and it's too much. It's too much. So I'm going to go back to, okay, I'm going to pick, 2, 3 things, and then I'm just going to divide them in different days. And then, if something takes 45 minutes, it's not a big deal. Like the paper pads took me 25 minutes. Perfect. This, I was already at 45, and like I said, I barely had a scratch done. So I was like, nope, I'm done. And I scrapped that. At least I took the cardstock out. I took, the little pieces of pattern papers. And now I'm putting everything back. You saw me put some chipboard in between. And then at some point, I'm going to take like 5 or 6 sheets of chipboard. And I'm going to put it in the back. And that's going to hold them up straight. And I even change where I place it. I place it where my black container was with all the paper scraps. I moved it there because I think I'll use it more if it's closer to me. The last thing I'm going to tackle is this last Raskog. I almost changed my mind and did something else because when I looked at that, I was like, at some point, I don't know if I was looking at the camera, but I kind of made a face like, oh my gosh. Really? There's a lot of stuff in this. So I'm going through every single thing. And if if it's hard, I'm chucking it. When I looked at the modeling paste, I was chasing it. I was shaking it and it felt very liquidy. And modeling paste should not be liquidy. So I still put it back because I couldn't open the container. But I'm going to get Dave to open the container. And if it's like disgusting and it doesn't look like modeling paste, that's going to get chucked. I have smaller containers and I'll just use that. I mean, if it's not usable, like why keep it around, right? I have to say, it took me about 33 minutes to clean this Raskog, which is kind of typical. I found that every single Raskog took me about 30-ish minutes. And I cleaned out that Antonio container And then I go through the process of, is this good? Is this not good? I kind of put everything into piles with how, they should be stored. And then I go through the process of repacking everything. And if I found that, like that sponge, for example, there is no reason why that sponge was in there. I have a spot where I keep my sponges. So I'm going to move that sponge where it belongs. A lot of the little containers, it's like masking fluid and, that kind of stuff. I'm putting it into that Raskog. I had some paint I put in there. I like to use toothbrushes to splatter on mixed media stuff. So I had, the toothbrushes in there. In that toothbrush holder, I actually have an X-Acto knife. So I'm just going to put that in that container there because, with me at my desk, I have like 2 or 3 X-Acto knives. So that one is good to stay with that container. So if I'm doing a project and I pull that container over to me, then I'll have an X-Acto knife. Now those little wooden pieces that you see on the desk, this is sort of like a little project that I did. It was like make your own, like holder for sponges, like almost like the Tim Holtz one. And the ones that were already glued on and I had used, they were all like crusty and messed up. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to chuck those. I did keep the little pieces of wood, but I wanted to keep them all together so that they weren't just like, before they were just laying on the bottom, the middle sort of shelf of my Raskog, and I didn't like that. So I put them in a little bag. I had a couple of heat tool. Every time I look for a heat gun, I can never find them. So now everything is kind of neat. So I'm going to show you a little clip where I'm going to show you the end result, and it really turned out great. So that's it. That's going to complete this session of Organize with me. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. If you're enjoying these videos, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.